I don't play anymore. Are you cracked on it?
28.
I'll hand out. Oh, Mr. Sheriff, I didn't even see that. Stealth. Stealth mode.
Exactly.
Man, that's pretty impressive. 3, 7, 6, 7.
I think I did.
Okay, I'll get you your quizzes back on Monday. They're not graded yet, so I'll finish those up this weekend, and then we'll see where you're at. Now, remember, next week, that's the end of the 9 weeks. Holy cow! And then I don't know why Mr. In the 70s. Yeah, I'll give you one. Yeah. All right. Let's see what you know here. Like I said, I'll hand out these guys' notes in a second. You know what positive exponents are. Okay, hopefully you see them enough. So you recall that to simplify 3 squared, you make that 3 times 3, which is 9. You know 3 squared is 9. Okay, you better. Okay, now, what is a 0 exponent or a negative exponent? How in the heck do we do that? What is 2 to the 0 power?
Just be 0.
No, are you kidding
Oh, it'd
me?
be 2.
2?
No.
1.
0? Oh my God.
I don't know anymore.
Jordan?
1.
Yeah, it's obviously 1.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense.
Huh?
I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense?
No.
Yeah, I don't get it.
2 times itself by nothing. It doesn't make no sense.
It's facts.
What's 2 to the negative 3rd power?
Negative 6.
Hey, are you kidding me?
Is it negative 9?
2 times
2. 0.
No.
Wait.
Times negative 8.
Is it negative 9?
No.
I don't get it. Negative 8.
Negative 8.
Why are you guys guessing?
Ow!
It's obviously 1/8.
Bro, he is so messy.
Obvious.
What? I don't.
That's so tall.
1/8. I don't get it.
All right, let's teach him, Mr. Schler. Let's teach him.
Read this.
They
Okay.
know these. Skip it.
Yeah.
All right, just pay attention. 2 to the 4th, you can use your calculator, it's fine. 2 to the 4th is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is what? 16. Now, a lot of math is about patterns. So what you need to figure out what the pattern is here as we go through this. 2 to the 3rd.
8.
Okay, 8. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 2 squared. 4.
That's the only one that makes sense.
2
Why
squared.
does it all make sense except for the 2?
Okay, here's the problem. When even using the calculators, when you guys were itty bitty kids in like 3rd grade, 2nd grade, you learned multiplication. Okay, they put a 2 and then like an X symbol and a 2, and that was 2 times 2, right? Okay, then you got a little bit older, and we changed that little X into a dot, maybe.
Ooh.
Okay. Then you got a little bit older. Okay. Some of you boys started growing some peach fuzz above your lip. All right. And it became parentheses. It was 2 times 2 in parentheses. It was never, ever, ever 2 and then a little tiny 2 above. It wasn't. And for some reason, even using your calculator, you guys think that's 2 times 2. Or you guys think 2 to the 4th power is 2 times 4.
Yeah.
It is not. Okay? The 2 to the 3rd power is not 2 times 3. You guys make up your own rules for some reason when we're talking about exponents. You think it's simple multiplication. It's not.
Yeah, you are not multiplying 2 times 4. So that's probably where your little confusion can come into. So let's fix that. Evan?
What if you just use your calculator?
What's that?
What if you just use your calculator?
Can't. Gotta know it without it.
And in an ideal world, that would be fine. However, again, like I just said, you guys will see that and punch it on your calculator 2 times 4.
Yeah.
You get 8, and then you yell at us and tell us we're off.
So yeah, 2 times 4 means this. You got 1, 2, 3. That tells you got 4 twos. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. That's how we get that. 2 to the third power, 2 times 2 times 2. So you multiply those 2's together, you get 8. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 to the first power, that just means you got 1, 2. That's just 2. All right, what is the pattern? So follow the pattern. If you follow the pattern, it goes 16, 8, 4, 2. Jordan?
It's cut in half.
Cut in half. You cut 2 in half, what do you get? You get 1. What's the pattern right here? It goes 4, 3, 2, 1. It's got to be, the next one has to be what? 0. So you cut it in half and you get 1. It would make no sense. It would make no sense, according to what I have here, to put a 0 there. None. Because it doesn't, it totally takes the pattern out. Okay. So it does not equal 0. It equals 1. And if you take your calculator and you hit 2 to the 0 power, it better give you 1. Okay, better give you 1. All right, now let's keep going. Let's keep going. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. What would it have to be the next number? -1. 2 to the -1 power is, so follow the pattern. 1/2. Cut it in half. 2 to the -2. All right, if you cut a half in half, a fourth. And 2 to the -3rd, 1/8. Now, it is related, 2 to the -3rd is related to 2 to the 3rd power. Same thing here. Really, whoops, that's a negative. Because what is 2 to the 3rd power? 2 to the 3rd power is 8. 2 squared is 4. 2 to the first is 2. When we do the negative, really what happens is it just becomes 1 over the power. It becomes 1 over 2 squared. Because doesn't that match up and give me 1/4? And doesn't it match up and give me 1/8? So that's kind of a shortcut, which that's what we're gonna kind of teach you here today. So follow the pattern, but you got to understand what 3 squared means and what 2 to the 4th power means. It means you're multiplying 2 4 times.
Wait, so on this next test, we're doing calculator?
You'll be allowed to use it, but in some cases, you just can't type it in and get the answer. You got to know how to do it.
And some, what do we do as we get older? It gets harder. We get rid of the numbers, we put in variables. You have to know how to apply this stuff to variables.
So if you hit 2 to the -3rd on your calculator, then it gives you a decimal. Yeah, I don't want the decimal. Then you get those 2 back there. You get 2 more. Okay, everybody got one? All right, so now we got something new. So yep, keep paying attention here. You look at the top here. It says, we already did that first part. It said, you have seen positive exponents. Recall that 3 squared is 3 as a factor 2 times. All right, now we got this here. Let me pull out my calculator just in case I need it. Where's it at? Clear. And all right. But according to this, 5 to the 5th is 3,125. You can hit your calculator, or I'm not lying to you. Okay, it means how many 5s are we multiplying together? 5 of them, right? 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. 5 to the 4th power is 625. 5 cubed is 125. 5 squared is 25, and 5 to the 1st power is 5. The pattern is this time we're dividing by 5. When we had 2's, we cut it in half. Now we're cutting it by 5. So 5 to the 0 power, what is 5 divided by 5? It is 1. So 2 to the 0 power is 1. 5 to the 0 power is also 1. What do you think 5 to the -1st power is? You got to divide it by 5. No decimals. So just put it as 1/5. And what happens if you cut 1/5 into 5 pieces? Jordan?
1/25.
1/25. Good. Okay, so now we're figuring out why this works. Okay. Now here is your rule. any non-zero number raised to the 0 power is 1. So what that means is 3 to the 0 is 1. 2 to the 0 is 1. 5 to the 0 is 1. So now we can just accept this as a fact. We kind of explained it. That's why we explained it. We did that little chart. 17 to the 0 power is what? 1. And you can throw in variables now. X to the 0 power is 1. Okay? Now here's this rule. If you have a negative exponent, if x does not equal 0, which I'm never going to give it to you as 0, and n is an integer, then this is the cheat. This is the shortcut. X to the negative n is the same as 1 over x to the n. So look at this. 2 to the negative third is the same as 1 over 2 to the third. Got it? And what is 2 to the third power? We've already said it was what? 8, right? So that's going to be 1/8. So 3 to the negative second is going to be the same as what?
1/4? Wait, no, 3.
Sorry, go step by step. What would be, how would I rewrite it first?
1 over 3 to the second power.
Okay, and what's 3 to the second power?
1/6. No.
No, you just did what he told you not to
1/9.
do. Yep, 3 times 3 is 1/9. So it's 1/9.
Hey, Evan, you do believe me?
What?
Here we are.
What?
Wake up, Evan.
4 to the negative second is 1 over 4 squared. 4 squared is 1 over 16. Don't put 8. Okay, so this is like the cheat. If I got a negative exponent, I can move it down below. If I have an x to the negative third, that's going to now become 1 over x cubed because of that rule. If I got a y to the negative fourth power, that becomes 1 over y to the fourth. Okay. Now this is it. So you got that chart. This kind of sums it up. So 0 exponents. Anything to the 0 power is a 1. Negative exponent. You just make it 1 over. You just make it 1 over that, and you might, because there's a big thing. Like really from here on out, we don't really like negative exponents, so our goal is to make any negative exponent positive. This is how we do it. Because I can take 2 to the negative third and make it 1 over 2 to the third. And here's what you got to watch, because if you do this in your calculator, 3 to the negative second, it's going to give you that. I don't want the decimal. We don't want the decimal. It's 1/9. That means a lot more to us than 0.1 repeating. So you got to be smarter. You can't just rely on your calculator. You can use it in some ways. All right, let's take a look at these ones at the bottom. Simplify. What does it say? Really big and bold there? No, what? Decimals. If you're throwing decimals in there, I know you're just typing it in your calculator and hitting enter. 3 to the negative second. Let's use that rule. That means we do 1 over 3 squared. Joe, what's 3 squared? 9. So what's our answer? 1/9. So that is going to be 1/9. There we go. That's how we do it. All right, number 2. 4 to the negative third. Evan.
1/64.
It will be 1/64 when we are done because I do 1 over 4 to the third. Now, I have absolutely no problem with you saying, all right, what is 4 to the third power when we get some bigger numbers? Okay. Or this would probably be even better to make sure you understand it a little better. Do 4 times 4 times 4, okay, to get that 64. But 1 over 64 is a crazy decimal, which I don't want. 1 over 64 makes sense. Okay, now you got to watch when you have negatives involved. And parentheses, same rules apply here. The whole -2 is in parentheses, so this now becomes 1 over -2 to the third power. Okay, because everything is that -2 is in parentheses. All right, what is -2 to the third power? What is -2 times -2 times -2? Rachel? Not 6, you're adding. Multiply. What'd you put in your calculator?
Oh, I put -2 times -2.
Okay, so you got a couple choices. You can do -2, whoops, parentheses, -2 to the third, or you can treat it as -2 times -2 times -2. But in either case, we get -8. So now this becomes 1 over -8. You'll never, like, you very rarely, if ever, see like a final answer with a negative in the denominator. So that's really a positive divided by negative. You can move the negative up to the 1, or you could put it out in front, but more often than not, they're going to be writing as -1/8. All right, is the -2 in parentheses there for 4? No. The exponent is only on the 2. This negative then, this negative is not affected by that power. So really, the 2 goes down below. I leave a 1 here with the negative on top. Okay? That negative doesn't go with the power because it's not in parentheses.
What is it, 8?
Well, what is 2 to the third power? 2 to the third power is 8. That negative is not affected, so it's still going to be -1/8. Okay? That's still going to be -1/8. So, and this is one case because it's an odd power. Okay, this would be how you would type that one in. I get -1. Well, it's going to give you a decimal. Sorry for that. What's the next one? 5. Okay, -2 to the 0 power equals.
-1? 1?
It equals 1. Because it's in parentheses. Anything to the 0 power is 1. What about 6 there? All right, this is a little bit of a curveball. Okay, the only thing to the power is the 2. The negative is not affected, so this is actually going to be -1. Okay, if it was in parentheses, then that whole thing becomes a 1. Okay, that is not affected. That negative is not affected, so it does not get applied to the power. All right, so those are just some quick cases there. And this is what we just talked about. If you got parentheses, that means that that negative has to be applied to the power. If you don't have parentheses, then our base is just the 3. In parentheses, our base is -3. So there's a huge difference. Huge difference. Okay. And now if you're given an expression and asked to plug in, that's going to apply whether you use those parentheses or not, or how you use them. Okay, x to the -2. It says evaluate the expression. Again, no decimals. So you're going to take the x out. What do we put in its place? 4 to the -2. All right, so now it's just like the problem we just did. 4 to the -2 becomes 1 over 4 squared, which is 1/16. Okay, 1/16. Holy cow.
Now it's going to get real.
All right, make sure you fill in the
Oh my God.
missing spots. A equals, put A equals 5.
Put these like 4 and then here -2 here and then put second here B.
Yes.
And I would highly discourage you from trying to type the whole thing in. Like if you want to do a little bit at a time, that's one thing. All right, now when you substitute in -2 is the constant. A gets replaced with 5. You're better off putting that in parentheses just to show you're separating. B gets replaced with what? -3. Since the b is to the -4th power, you definitely need to keep the negative in the parentheses, and it'll look like this. Okay, what's 5 to the 0 power? 1. So that becomes a 1. So I got a -2. That becomes, it gets replaced by 1. What do I do with a negative? We don't want negative exponents. Okay, just like up here, if I got a negative exponent, it becomes 1 over. So all I have to do is take that and put it in the denominator, but it becomes -3 to the 4th power. Okay? So when you got a negative exponent, it moves down below, it becomes 1 over. And I don't need to write the 1 because I already got other stuff up there. -2 times 1 is -2. All right, what is -3 to the 4th power? You're more than welcome to use your calculator there, but you gotta watch how you type it in. You gotta use parentheses, but it's -3 times -3 times -3 times -3. Jordan? 81. Positive 81. Because we got it. So if you did this, you would have to put it in parentheses. So you get 81. That's the same as -3 times -3 times -3 times -3. 81. And that's your answer. Done. Can't do anything else with it. Simplify. No decimal.
Understand that this piece here that's highlighted, we move that to the denominator, okay? If the opposite's also true, if we had a negative exponent in the denominator, we would just move it up to the numerator and make it positive. Okay,
You like that?
there you are.
Look at that. Same wavelength. All right. What do you do when you got negative? And this is just what Mr. Schlurf said. All right, and here, take a look. This is one time here. I'm going to put this in my calculator. I'm going to take 1 divided by 5 to the -2nd power. It says 25. Here's why. Because if I got a negative exponent down here, I can move it up above, and it becomes 5 to the 2nd power, which equals 25. Here's why, because here's what's going on, and I know this is probably a little bit too much, but I'm going to explain it anyway. 5 to the -2nd becomes 1 over 5 squared. So that right there is that. That becomes 1 over 1 divided by 25. Well, do you remember how you divide fractions? Keep, what's the 3 words? Keep, change, flip. But what do we keep? We keep the top number, which is 1. Change it 2 times, flip that. And so I still get 25. So a negative exponent in the denominator will kick up to the numerator. And that's just the case. So if I got 1 over 4 to the -3rd, that's the same thing as 4 to the 3rd. If I got 1 over 6 to the -7th, that's the same as 6 to the 7th. That's how we take a negative exponent and make it positive. Okay? This works with variables as well. I don't think you. All right, copy these down here in that little space there. Yep. Just real quick here, this is how it works. So y to the -3rd becomes 1 over y cubed. Now you can't do anything else with it because I don't know what y is. Just leave it. But here's the goal. No negative exponents when we're done. Or 0 exponents. That's the goal. You gotta watch where the parentheses are. Anybody want to take a stab at this next one? Or if there are parentheses. So 3x to the -2nd. How can I rewrite that without any negative exponents? Okay, Zach.
Would this be 1 over 3x squared?
Okay, now here's the key. We got 2. Don't write anything down yet. Okay. One of those is right, one of those is wrong, and I got to be able to try to explain it. What is the only thing to the exponent right here?
1.
Is the only thing to the exponent is on the x only. So that means only the x moves. Okay. The 3 is not to the power. What Zach said would only work if it was this. Because then both of those are to the power, and you would have to write it like that. So you really got to be careful here. So in this case here,
Think of it like the 3, it actually does have an exponent.
it does.
It's +1, okay? Every just whole number is being raised to +1.
We just don't write it. We just don't write it. So good. All right, what about 1 over m to the negative fourth? The only thing is m to the negative fourth, to make it positive, you kick it upstairs. If I kick it upstairs, is there anything left in the denominator? No, so you don't need to make it m to the fourth over 1. You can just make it m to the fourth. All right, now be careful here. This is a similar case to that second one. That 5 is not to the power. So it's the only thing that moves. The r. And since it's r to the negative third, it's going to kick upstairs. And you get r cubed over 5. The 5 doesn't move. Theoretically, that 1 is still there, and we're multiplying it by r cubed, but we don't ever write 1 r to the third. You can just write r to the third. So that would be fine. All right. Simplify the following. I think this is those last ones there, right? Josh?
They have a C also.
Oh, they got a C?
Yeah, it's down there. I see it. It's up there.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep going. So A, does that A match up with what you got? All right, take a second and think about it. This is the first time through, this is a hard one. All right. Any idea what the answer should be? Like you had to just throw something down.
It's 2 over y3.
It says x2 over y3. You are correct. Okay, you are correct. Just want to see what's going through the mind. Do not change any positive exponents. They stay where they're at. So here's the case. Does it stay in the top or does it move? It's always going to move over the fraction bar to change the sign. Y to the negative third will now go in the bottom. That is correct. Done. Don't need to do anything else.
So if it was x to the second and y to the third, you put the y on the one on the bottom negative.
If it was this, x to the second, y to the third, we wouldn't do anything with it. You just have to leave it. Okay, because you already have both positive exponents. You can't do anything with that. Okay? We only can change it or move things if they're negative exponents or a 0 exponent. Okay? Good point.
I think on yours for B, yeah, there's no negative on the y. So change that to a -3 in the denominator.
Yeah, do that if you would. Otherwise, you wouldn't do anything with it. Josh?
Remember B?
Yeah, what do you think it would be?
It would be 7, 3, and x. 7, 3 over x2.
7.
Where are you getting a set,
I
man?
meant y. I'm tripping right now.
You had 7 out of 1.
All right, don't write anything down to here. Y to the third, and then what?
And then x to the second. This one?
Like this?
No.
No. All right, hold on. What'd you tell me
I
again?
don't know if that's right. Then yeah.
That was right.
Alright, then yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Okay, here's the key. Don't move the x squared. I think you tried to move it down below. The x squared already has a positive 2 on it, so it has to stay in the top. It has to stay in the numerator. Y to the negative third has a negative exponent, so it kicks upstairs. Now, more often than not, we put things in alphabetical order. For now, I'd accept that, but eventually we just need to move it and just put the x squared first, the y cubed second. Okay, that's not incorrect, but just the order. Okay, the order. But that would be the case there. You got to move any negative exponents. Move any negative exponents. All right, so there's C. Maybe that's where you got the 7 from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
Coach feels tired. Got buckets last night.
I know. Buckets and boards. All right, so for C, should the 7 move? Does it have a negative exponent? No, the 7 has to stay where it's at. R to the negative third now goes down below. What's left up top?
A 1.
A 1.
Good. Yeah, we
Yep.
gotta have that placeholder.
Yep, yep, holds that place. Now don't don't put R cubed 7. Like we're not droids. Okay? You always put the coefficient first. So make that 7 R to the third for that. Ooh, all right, letter D, 2 R to the 0 power M to the negative third. Well, the R to the 0 automatically just becomes a what? A 1. Okay, a big old 1. And as long as it's multiplied by something, you really don't need to write it, but you can. All right, let me see what you think. Jordan?
1 over m to the third.
Okay, 1 over m to the third. One thing he did, and he did something wrong. Everybody fix it, Zach?
You need to multiply the 2 by the 1, and there's a 2 over m cubed.
Whoops, I thought I hit that. It will be 2 because the 0 only goes to the r. The 2 does not get affected by that. So the 2 still stays. Technically, you can think of it like this. The r to the 0 becomes a 1, but when you multiply them together, you do want to make it your final answer 2 over m cubed. So that would be the case there. That 2 does not move to a 1. All right, e is g to the 4th over h to the negative 6. No negative exponents in your answer. You only move negative exponents. Christiana, what do you think? Sinking in yet? G to the 4th, is that a positive exponent? So it has to be in the top in the end. Is that a negative exponent? So if you have a negative exponent, just move it to the other side of the fraction bar. So move it up above. So if there's nothing left, you put a 1, but really for that, you can just leave it as g to the 4th, h to the 6th. So now they're together. They're buds. They're both positive exponents. That's all you would do for that. Okay. Sometimes you get it. Sometimes you wanted to move too many things. You only move what has a negative exponent. Okay. Hey, right here, let's just do these kind of together. Just find a little bit of room down there. Don't even worry about getting your book out. Just to kind of practice. See what you get for these right here. Hold on here. Let me see something. Okay. We're just going to kind of do these together. So just find a little bit of room on the bottom or on the side or somewhere on your guided notes. And then what do you think 6 to the negative 2nd is? You can use your calculator, but no decimals. Go ahead and do them all. And then we'll go over the answers. Or do 2 or 3, and then we'll go over some of them. I just want to see if you're to the point where you can do it on your own yet. All right, Sam, do you know what 6 to the negative 2nd would be?
1 over 36.
Good, final answer, because you're doing 1 over 6 squared, it would be 1 over 36. Christian, do you know what 3 to the 0 would be?
1.
Good, it would be a 1, that's it. Okay, good. Zach, how about the negative 5 to the negative 2nd?
It would be negative 1/25.
It has to be a negative because the negative does not move down below. It becomes negative 1 over 25. Very good. 3 negative 30. Anybody got that? Zach?
1.7.
It's going to be 1 over 27 when we're done. Ooh, 1 to the negative 8. Zach, you quit hogging the spotlight.
This one's easy.
1 to the negative 8. How do we rewrite that? Tell me how to rewrite it, Josh.
This is just 1.
Good. It's going to be 1 because 1 to the negative 8 is 1 to the 8, and 1 to any power is 1, so you just end up with 1 over 1. All right, we're just going to kind of do these next ones out loud. I'm just going to randomly call on people. Don't panic, though. Morgan, don't panic. Take a look at number 16. What do you think that would be? What's your answer? Huh?
I don't even know.
Say something.
4 and
what?
1.
Okay, that is a 1. Now what's 4 times 1?
4.
4. That's your answer. All right, I'm gonna make you uncomfortable because you gotta see what's going on in your head. So I gotta see what I gotta fix, or what you might know it better than you think. Hanan, how about 17? What do you think for that one? What do you think? I'm gonna make you uncomfortable. I gotta
You might be
apologize.
wrong. It'll be okay.
It's okay, because I gotta see what's going through the mind, so we can either fix it or you might be right. Is it this? Why can't I leave that answer? How I ask that? There's a negative exponent. So what do I do to make a negative exponent positive? So you know you can't leave that as an answer. So what could be a possible answer? Okay. And so what do you think? What would the fraction look like?
What goes on top of the fraction, what goes on the bottom of the fraction?
Good way to word it. Did you just say this? Is that what you said? That's right. Okay, like I said, I want to get you to go through this, so I gotta see what's going through your mind. So that's it. The 3 does not move because it's not to the power. All right, Allie, 18, what do you think? It's 7 over r to the negative 7. What would you say the answer is? Like this? That is correct. Okay, good. You don't move things that do not have a negative exponent. All right, Evan, look at number 19. What do you think the answer would be? No, we're not. That's not applying today.
What do we not like about what we currently have?
Okay,
Alright.
so
That's the only thing we need to worry about. It's the only thing that we need to work with. What should we do to get rid of it?
Times it by D, which is 1.
Times it by D?
only if it was a number. If that was like,
Not anything all day.
I was a guess.
look at what we're doing on these others. Okay, you got a negative exponent. You got to move it. X to the 10th does not move. It's not a negative exponent. So what do we do if it's a negative exponent? If it's in the bottom, where do we move it to? Top. So it moves up. And if that leaves us nothing in the bottom, it's just x to the 10th times d to the 3rd. That'd be it. That would be it. All right. Keep your focus here, Amanda. Because you got number 20. Oh, this is a toughie. And everybody, you should be answering it in your head right now. What do you think, Amanda?
Would it be 2 over y to the 4?
It absolutely would be. Okay, because x to the 0 becomes a what?
A 0. A 1.
1. Yep. Oh, 21. Getting cray. Jordan.
It would be G to the 6 over F to the 4.
Good. They both flip spots because they're both negative, so they just flip. Christian?
Would be C to the 4th and D to the 3rd.
It would be. It would be. Preston, how about 23?
Would it be Q over Q1 over P7?
This?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely not.
Would it be flipped?
Yeah, I'm trying to get inside that big brain of yours. P to the 7th, this would be both over 1. That's a positive, so it has to stay up there. You're right, it would be flipped. What made you, I don't know if you can explain. So keep that positive, flip the other one. Okay, all right, so this is a tough one, all right, the first time through. All right, page 449. You gotta try, you gotta do these or else it'll just be gone. And the earlier you do it, if you wait till Sunday night.
This is usually a pretty tricky chapter for people.
Page 449, 25 through 57. Hey, if you get to the homework and you forget, go to the video. Go to the video. I recorded it.
Yeah.
But it's still gonna take at least 15 minutes.
The problems are so quick.
Yeah.
Write the problem. You got to write the original problem down though.
It'll take me a bit.
Compared to how. Hi, Samantha.